Hello, guys. Game week 10 is done, and we've had some of the really good games, but the usual is still true that United has lost again. And uh, United has just played a derby, and they got completely outplayed by City, at least according to me. Do you guys still think you guys are in the title race now?
Yeah, man, why do we have predictions, man? I mean, it comes to bite you back in the ass after 10 games in the season. Not after 10 games, after every game week.
For United, that is true.
Yeah, so completely outplayed by City. I have mentioned multiple times that City are not exactly the team, the ruthless team that they have been until now. I mean, until last season. So I was actually going into the game. I was hoping that we are in good enough kind of form results wise, not
Mm-hmm.
performance wise. Two
Mm-hmm.
different things. At least results builds confidence, but we were shit anyways in the games that we won. I will put it out
Mm-hmm.
there. I mean, honestly. So, but we still hope that we will be compact. And that's what we've been, because start of the season we were leaking a lot of goals because
Mm-hmm.
Ten Hag upon his admission has had mentioned that we were seeking the right balance in the team,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
after a lot of injuries, right, he wanted to put the together the right pieces that could survive games, and it
Okay.
took a lot of time, about 4 5 games, and we were leaking goals. He tried to plug the holes, but
Mm-hmm.
what happened as a result of that is, during those times, although we were open at the back, we were still scoring goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were still scoring 2 3 goals in games, but we're leaking towards the end of the game through set pieces, or the midfield will be too open and all that. But at least now what he said is, let's go back to being compact. So
Mm-hmm.
we were compact in the Man City game. We held Man City off. In our own home at Old Trafford, we were
Mm-hmm.
as deep as possible. We were almost playing with Onana at times. So that was it. At least that was the game plan, and we were stuck to it. But I have had this problem with attitude and mentality of every player that walks into the door at Old Trafford. So one thing goes wrong, and players are players do not have the mentality to persevere. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even in game or off game, if something is not right with ownership, there is too much talks about United. Somehow they are not mentally coached to the right amount or whatever, that they start to falter. They start to fall like pack of cards. So if
Mm-hmm.
11 players are not committed, or not 11 players, sometimes when injuries happen, you need to have a squad of 25, and if all are not on the same page, you will suffer. And
Right.
that exactly happened with the penalty. And
Mm-hmm.
call it a soft penalty, debate it all that you want. uh, Such was the performance that, there is no point in talking about the penalty more and more,
Okay.
because if you talk about the penalty more and more, you're deviating from the original problem. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do that. So after the penalty happened, many players thought it was soft. It was against the run of the play. So
Okay.
our plan was working fine. We were keeping City at bay. Onana was top class. So confidence was pumped up. They were fist pumping and all that, because they kept City at bay. He saved a shot from Haaland and whatnot. As soon as that decision goes against us, okay,
Mm-hmm.
everyone is like, अब तो हार गए. मतलब, because
Mm-hmm.
we considered the first goal.
Mm-hmm.
How can you? My question is, how can you let 75,000 people down at your own stadium? That is my question. So that's
Mm-hmm.
about it about the game. I mean, the start of the game, at least. Obviously, we'll talk more, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you guys thought. Obviously, you must have watched the derby.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do want to go to Manish, and I just want to get his points out of the way as well. That what he thought about it.
I think we expected a lot of fight in it, because in a
Mm-hmm.
derby game, although if you said it like, okay, United are going to lose to City like 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I would still take it. I would just want a good performance in there, a good
Mm-hmm.
fight in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the fight was missing, and we
Mm-hmm.
lost 3-0.
Yeah.
So 3-0 is a big thing. And in a derby game, if you lose 3-0, it could break your season. So we
Yeah.
were already half broken. Now I think it's 3-0, and it's a moral devastating defeat, I would say. But
Mm,
yeah, at United, these kind of things happen, and then we are bound to bounce back. There is no other option at United.
yeah.
So people would be saying, okay, okay, you are out, you are completely gone. Manager is going to is
I
on
call it
the
empty
under the
optimism.
bus. Yeah, yeah. See, everybody will be saying, okay, now the players have thrown the manager under the bus and all that. But you have to
Mm,
wake up and perform the next week, next weekend, next midweek. You're in the Champions League, you're in the competitions. You
right.
have to do that. You have to also play Carabao Cup. I don't know who will watch that match, but you have to go and play and win because you're the defending champions of the so-called Carabao Cup. So you have to
Yeah.
do it. So I hope that, okay, this was a bad defeat. uh, let's see if we could bounce back. I hope so, because we have to.
Yeah.
Uh,
I, you
uh,
know,
I would just like to button.
yeah.
You, I mean, when you're so low, right? You can't go lower. So when you say bounce back, matlab it's bound to happen. Like, it's bound to
What's
happen.
there underneath rock bottom? Tell me
वही
something.
तो when you say bounce back, it sounds like it's such a hero kind of a
Yeah,
optimistic
yeah, yeah.
story, and
Like
I'm
you
just
have
thinking,
to bounce back or you'll be in the pits. So
I'm just thinking in my head, what is bounce back right now?
yeah.
At this point of time, I think even if you draw, you would say we fought, because
Yeah, yeah.
because because the game that I saw, right? The game I saw, I do agree with Rajesh when he said that that the game plan was working, but the way City was attacking, I felt somewhere down the line there were chinks in the armor wherein एक गोल तो पड़ता था, right? Also, I mean, but then again, there's also another way of looking at it कि अगर एक गोल पड़ता था, maybe you could have had a counter attack and you could have won it, like the chance that Rashford had at the fag end, kind of, that I understand. But so I came across something. I just realized that over the period of the season at Old Trafford alone,
Mm,
United have created a 5 goal worthy chances, as in wherein they should have been 5 goals
okay.
based on XG, right?
Okay.
5 goals.
Mm,
Don't you? I mean, okay, you talk about the defense and Onana and whatnot. Don't you feel sometimes that there might be a problem in attack as well?
yeah.
No, I don't
That's it.
think I mean, the problem. I wouldn't say the problem. The biggest plus is that our attackers have been injury free.
Okay.
Have you ever thought of that? Because last season and this season, our attackers are actually injury free. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they have a very good, fitness regime that they're following or whatever. They have been fit most of the games. There has been no chopping and changing in the front line. The
Yeah.
problem, yeah. So Ten Hag was asked about this question, and
Yeah.
he said it that my philosophy is about building from the back, and he said that we were able to achieve a certain level about my style and the way we want to play in transition. When he says transition, he says we want to get the ball back as soon as possible, and we want to use the wingers, and we want to make as minimum passes as possible and attack with pace, everyone along with the team. So what
Uh-huh.
happens here is that his style is totally dependent on the goalkeeper and the defense. His
Okay.
style is dependent on these two elements. And now what happens is Onana is new, but he is coming into ropes. Now, the problem is that the entire backline is new. Entire
Yeah,
backline.
chopping and
There
changing.
is
Yeah.
it's not chopping and changing. You say chopping and changing if the manager is trying different things. That's not the problem. He's having to do that because he has no other options. He's
Mm-hmm.
having to bring Evans, who was not getting picked up by any other team. He was just training with us so that he could find another team. And we said, "Oh man, why don't you come with us?" You know the very reason why Johnny Evans is in the team. Why Ten Hag would prefer Johnny Evans, because he's old. Why would he prefer a center back like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the brilliant thing about Johnny Evans is that he's very two-footed. He can give a brilliant pass to our striker with his left foot, and that's why he plays in that Martinez position, which is the left center back position. And
He does these
Maguire has
simple
to
things right.
he
He
does the
does this
simple things right, and that's exactly the reason he did not. People can troll him all he wants, but his discipline is unquestionable. He can hold
Okay.
his own. is what I'm saying. He cannot
Okay.
run. That is not a Eric Ten Hag center back. Eric Ten Hag center back has to be elite with the ball, right? And Varane and Martinez were the only two center backs that are able to do that. And to be honest, as injury prone Varane is, last season Varane was available. Martinez was available. That's why they were monumental in us finishing top four. And that exactly reciprocated in attack as well. And that is also the reason why Rashford scored 30 goals. People don't realize that. People just come out and slander Rashford. And when I say people, our own United fans. Okay.
No,
So
like what you're saying is like it's like when manager has a style of play, okay, and if the things are not going right, then you change the tactics, and then you start to win 2 or 3 games, and what happens is like players now don't feel confident about your primary system.
Hmm.
So this is where the system doesn't take the front seat. Your tactics and your jugards take the front seat. I'm totally agreeing with your point that Eric Ten Hag has a style of play that is playing through the back, passing, possession, and dominating, and going from back to front. Okay, it is your philosophy. You have to do that. But when it's a derby game, when it's do or die, I understand tactics and all that. You have that style of play, but you have to break that and you have to put that effort. You have to have that pressing and you have to have that hunger that was missing. That is what I would like. I have a criticism for Eric Ten Hag. I understand that you need not to break the system because look at Brighton. Even if they're trailing 1-0 or 2-1, even at the 95th minute, they try to create a goal and then score. They just
Hmm.
don't hoop balls forward and then okay, it's just 2 minutes left. Let's try and get a goal. They will pass and do that. But in a derby game, you look for any derby game, or North London derby or a Merseyside derby. What would you want? Just want to win the game. You don't want to see awesome football being played and like passing
correct.
and then scoring goals. You want to win the game. Put in that effort, put in that flying tackle, put in that tackle. You gave up a penalty. Even if you'd have given a penalty for a bank tackle, I would accept it. Yeah, what is this half pull, half push and penalty? मार के मरो ना यार, क्या है? What is this
अरे
यार?
हाँ
Like,
यार, कीन से इंस्पायर हो जाते हैं भैंस की आंख.
that is what we want to see in a
Yeah,
derby.
yeah.
Like there are 78,000 people
एंड
going there
दैट्स
to
व्हाट यू
watch
सॉ इन
that.
द डार्बी. हालैंड को बोल रहे थे कीन कीन कीन, आके गोल मार दिया. यू सॉ इट इन द डार्बी.
No,
Oh,
sometimes you need that. Okay, if forget derby, you have next game against Fulham. You have FC Copenhagen at home in Champions League. You do your system there. You play your passing and all that from the back to front. All that derby game, maro. That is what we
So,
wanted to
you
see.
Sometimes.
know, I actually sorry, I wanted to butt in a little bit. I was the game, okay, and the thing is that it gives me a really good contrast because we just had our derby last week, right? So we played Everton, and then I'm looking at this derby where you're playing City, and if I'm not able to tell a difference between a Liverpool versus Everton derby and a City versus United derby, so that's a really bad uh, look for United actually, because United is supposed to be nowhere near Everton.
If you
And
are
quite
going
honestly,
to if you are going to ask me, had United gone one man down, would
hmm.
they have performed to the level Everton performed against Liverpool at Anfield? Don't even ask me that. It will give
I
me
don't
nightmare.
I don't even want you to answer that because I already know
even
Everton, by the way, just fought with everything they had. And
yeah,
see,
yeah,
I'm putting that contrast out
Yeah.
because the game that I watched, United, even when they were not behind, right? At any point, United, even with their style of gameplay, it did not feel like the United were going to score, at least to me. City always had control. City were playing their game. Like, they were playing their game, and it felt like that they did not really care who was in the position. That is a really bad look again for United in a derby, by the way, because City is supposed to know that they are playing United. You can, let's just say you don't have players. Let's just say you don't have anything, but still that you are that playing in front of your fans and just giving your all. That was Manish is talking about, the fight, right? That still has to be there. And
Correct.
I do understand that you have injuries and all, and I have to say this, that a manager doesn't change his play style just because he got injuries. Like we were frustrated that we were playing we were playing like high line with the likes of Phillips and like our fourth choice defenders, but we were doing it because Klopp wanted to just play like managers are stubborn about their play style, and they will play their play style irrespective of who the player is. But the manager has to adapt based on the players that he has available. And in the minimum, in the minimum, you still have to show it that you are playing against
Actually,
your rivals at least.
okay, so
I have a say also, like when you look at the derby, right? There's there's one player which I always feel that in a derby I would love to have this guy in my team, and that guy is McTominay. In my head, I'm like, this guy, ये कुछ नहीं करे derby में, he comes to life. Forget derbies, all
and
the
he
big
almost
games,
did.
right? He comes to life, and the thing is, I think he is a failed midfield experiment. He should have been a striker in my head, right? In my head, he should have been a striker. And coming to fights and whatnot, coming on a personal note, I just remember back in the heydays when I used to play football with Manish. So what used to happen when he's losing, right? This guy, he used to get on the face. That's all well and good. It's not going his way. The motherfucker is only pushing and shoving. Right, and I'm like, oh, this is where it's all coming from.
But all within
Mancy
the
born
rules.
and
But
bred.
all within the
Yeah,
rules.
yeah, yeah. And
Man.
now I'm like, acha. So this is what it was. But
But
I do also understand that what he's saying makes sense, because now when I'm thinking back, it didn't feel like a derby at all in terms of the fight put by United, even as a spectator. But
Hmm.
I do realize that it meant a lot for City, because after the game, the way they celebrated, right? The way they celebrated, it showed it meant a lot to them, irrespective of where United are and how they're performing, right? And I found it really fun, not funny, but a little odd, because I have seen United even in their worst forms, when it comes against City, or even for that matter Liverpool, they always come to life. You think the game is gone, and then they're fighting with all their might, but this game felt very timid on that.
Not Abhay, not for actually last 2 years, I'd say. They have a really horrible record against Liverpool and City both. For
No, no,
last
no.
in
It's
any
not
game
just
they have
about
played last 2 years.
it's. Oh yeah, yeah. The Anfield
No,
one I remember, but
last year we won against City. That's why Guardiola was so much happy to win this game.
no, but
When
what I'm
when was
saying
that
is,
that six
as
six two then?
as a
That was
football
year to year
spectator
back.
also, it's irritating to watch a derby wherein one team is just like, हाँ ठीक है, like
okay, so
See,
yeah,
I
would you
yeah
let us answer, or
yeah
you're going to
yeah.
yeah, you're going to sing praises about Man United? So okay, yeah, I've been itching to answer this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did not get what you expected as a neutral, right?
Hmm.
So uh, I don't know what's going on in Tenak's head, of course, but
Hmm.
what I could gather from the press conferences and his reactions, it doesn't give away much actually,
Hmm.
because he's not a open guy like a Klopp or a
Because
Ange
he's
or anyone.
Dutch.
Yeah, he's that. So he's reserved in his own way.
Okay.
He'll be cocky about it. But
Okay.
he's lost a game, and
Hmm.
he's kept on saying that we played our game plan. Our game plan was right. So he kept on saying that, and that actually enraged fans. You
Hmm.
know
yes,
what happens? What does Twitter do? Twitter does it. These controversial lines, it
Hmm.
picks up and forgets the context,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
papers like ESPN and all, they keep on circulating.
True,
It
true.
enrages the fan base,
Hmm.
and when it's
Hmm.
United, फिर तो मतलब आग भी जलाने की जरूरत नहीं है, तुम पाद भी दोगे तो पूरा ही जल जाएगा शहर। तो ऐसा ऐसा सीन है पूरा। ठीक है, तो मतलब that's how frustrated I am. I had to use that word. So the
in my
problem
head, that was very very descriptive.
Exactly. I
तो
could see the
देखो,
explosions, man.
हाँ, तो ऐसा है, उसका पूरा कॉन्टेक्स्ट जो सुनना चाहता है वही सुनेगा, जिसको नहीं सुनना है
Hmm.
वो छोटा सा चीज लेके सर्कुलेट करेगा और गाली देगा एंड ऑल दैट। देखो, लेट मी सेट वन कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्लियर। आई विल नॉट थ्रो एरिक टेन हैग द मैनेजर अंडर द बस। ही इज अ
Okay.
ब्रिलियंट मैनेजर,
Okay.
वो relegate भी हो जाए, अरे मैंने बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स में लिखा है, यूनाइटेड अगर relegation फाइट में भी है, I will not throw under the manager under the bus, because I see it in every match how weak the mentality of the players are. And now that, because
Hmm.
मैं इसलिए I will not throw him under the bus is because I I have seen his teams play. I have seen the mentality of the manager as to the amount of work that he puts in, the amount of detail that he has gone to, through many sources that we come across on the internet and everything, reliable sources. So now coming back to the original question, you did not get overjoyed by the derby. It did not feel like a derby because Eric Ten Hag put out the team to play without the ball. He did not focus on the ball work. He did not press. His focus was to not let a goal through in the first half. And that has always been the plan in most of the games after that, series of defeats that we had. His pressing patterns to forget. If you're going into a game thinking, currently our fans think that every time we play now, they are expecting some, sexy football. It won't happen. Why are you expecting that kind of football? I went into this game knowing that we will not be pressing against City. अगर प्रेस करेंगे 7-0 हारेंगे, और वो भी बॉबी चार्ल्टन का बड़े से फोटो के सामने हारते। ठीक है, मैं तेरे को ये लिख के बता रहा हूँ। एंड इवन सिटी, दिस सिटी टीम, हम 7-0 हारते विदाउट ए केविन डे ब्रुयने। ठीक है, तो they will keep on passing. So what our tactics was that, let them have the ball, let them have the joy. They'll move it on to the sides. Obviously, City, right? They keep on hugging the touchline. They play through their width, right? They open up spaces in the middle and all that. So we let them have the ball. कोई प्रेस ही नहीं करा था। प्रेस जो एरिक टेन हाग का एक पार्ट ऑफ फिलोसफी है, टू रिटेन द बॉल। आवर इंटेंशन वाज नॉट टू रिटेन द बॉल। आवर इंटेंशन इन द गेम वाज, इवन दो एट होम, तुम अपने प्राइड को साइड में रखो एंड लेट द सिटी टीम हु आर ब्रिलियंट टेक्निकल एबिलिटी हैव द बॉल। और प्लान उसके हिसाब से जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बोला ना हारने के बाद, इट विल एनरेज मी ऑल्सो, बट उसका प्लान एक्चुअली ठीक था। हम फर्स्ट हाफ
Hmm.
नहीं हारेंगे, नील नील रहेंगे। ठीक है, सेकेंड हाफ वी विल मेक चेंजेस, we will attack a little bit, we will grow in confidence and attack a bit. So that's why I kept saying at the start that our players mentality is weak, that if you got a penalty, stick to the fucking plan. We didn't do that.
This is
We didn't do
like
that.
Okay.
this sounds like a typical Jose Mourinho plan. Like
Mhm.
nil
Yeah,
till the
yeah,
halftime, and
correct,
then you try to get.
correct.
No, like what you're saying is like I agree with your point that players don't have the mentality to like go forward and play for a play in a difficult situation at a
Exactly,
club like United.
exactly.
But I also have a complaint with Eric Ten Hag. There was also a Dutch manager previously at United who used to say these kind of things at the press conference. This is a process, 3-5-2. There should be players like this, possession and this and that. He got sacked. He didn't deliver anything. Yeah, he got a FA Cup. But what I'm trying to say is like if the players are not having that character, they are not having that balls of steel, come out in the press conference and then say that, just like Antonio Conte, that these players are not performing. You have just told about one single player that he didn't train well. Okay, I understand, I was happy. Okay, you are just saying what is straight to the face. But now when your other players are not playing well, you have to tell, okay, we didn't play. You just can't be deflecting the questions. Like
Yeah,
when asked about like how will your team play like Ajax, he's saying never. United are never going to play like Ajax because we don't have those players. We don't have this. We don't have that. What do you need? You need Dusan Tadic and Sebastian Haller. You are not going to definitely have that. You are going to have different players. But the question put out here by the reporter is, when are you going to play dominating positive mentality football like you played at Ajax, not the possession and all the
Exactly.
traditional
Exactly.
4-3-3 that you played in Ajax. So you need to have give proper answers, proper communication. You don't I What I mean to say is don't defend players, because these guys, when they don't perform, it's your job on the line. You are going to get sacked. Players will be there. Like how the players have bets on managers being sacked within a month or not. They'll be doing that. So as a United manager, I would like to see him straight away talking points straight and just saying we didn't play well, we'll do better next time. Not like we had this
Hmm.
tactics right, it was half correct half not, we'll play this way. That is what I would like not to see. I would like to see straight away, straight to the point, that's it.
It's the manager's ego. Had we been playing like this, I mean, had we not been performing at a good level against a smaller team, his ego would have been lesser. It would have been like, yeah, we did not play well. That the other opposition did well. Since it was Pep or a club, he did not want to concede a defeat. He had his ego of his own. कि मेरा plan तो सही था. उसका plan जो गया. But
See, Rajesh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, I understand at least that you are a big fan of Ten Hag. Okay, I'm just going to say that
I'm not a
directly.
big fan of Ten Hag. You got me right.
See,
Got me
you
wrong because
okay?
I do not want to see a manager get sacked. It can be ex-manager get sacked because of a player commitment. Because if you are wearing that shirt, a Man United shirt, and you cannot be committed, that's not good enough for you to be committed wearing a Man United shirt.
That
You cannot throw the manager under. That is the reason that I gave.
See, Rajesh, that would have worked out. That would have worked out for your other managers, who spent less time in your team, who probably did not have the players that they want. Okay, Ten Hag has spent around 400 millions now. Okay, in last 18 months, he has got the opportunity to get the players that he want. Uh, you brought a manager to play a certain style of, like, you saw him playing in Ajax with the team that he had. Ajax, if you're going to, I don't think you're going to tell me that my Man United is not capable of creating a team of level of Ajax or better than Ajax. Could. So he had some set of players in Ajax. He got a selection of it. Whatever. In last 18 months, he got a selection of players in United as well. United has a lot of resources. No matter what you say, United spends a lot as well. He has gotten player of his liking. Now, if the players are not performing at a certain level, or if there is a lack of mentality or something like that, you cannot just completely throw it on players, is what I think. Okay. And my question to you guys is also that after spending what he spent and the players that he has gotten, there's still and I was going to bring up what Manish has brought up, that he just directly said that United is never going to play like Ajax because they don't have the players. Like, what have you been doing then? If you could not make a team, at least half of a team. I'm not
The
expecting you to create the whole team.
one
At
thing
least
that
create a half of a team, right?
one thing that fans completely ignore is when the question is put up to Ten Hag, and it has been put up multiple times now to Ten Hag that are you going to bring similar style as you played at Ajax? And he has answered very differently there. He said that
Mm-hmm.
was the Dutch league. Here, every team poses and comes with up with a different challenge. That's the Eredivisie league. There you can play
Okay.
all the position you want. There,
No,
Ajax are the
No, no, dude. Okay,
more than
victims.
Rajesh,
tactical
you
point
actually
of view,
got me. You actually
more
got
than
me
the
wrong. Then
tactical point of view, the mentality thing should
let
be
me
there.
reiterate. Okay, let me reiterate.
Okay,
Uh,
before all that, now that you pulled out Ajax, fun fact: Ajax are at the bottom of the
yeah,
league.
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Just
I
that.
understand.
Thank you,
After
thank you.
Eric Ten Hag left, after
Yeah,
Eric Ten Hag left,
yeah. Okay,
have that
fine.
on
That is
record
okay.
as
So
well.
the what what I'm
That is
trying.
not okay.
No, no, no.
No,
That
no,
is
It
a
is
very
continue,
definite.
continue.
that is not okay.
No,
Obviously, see,
Eric
Ajax
Ten Hag
went
left
down
Ajax 2 years ago. Just one
yeah,
more fact. Yeah.
also not last year. So
Yes.
anyway, so let's not go to Dutch league. Let's just say that. Let's come back here and see. What I'm not expecting is to him just like steamroll all the teams, like he used to do in IS. He cannot do that. I understand that. But you have a style of play. You get into a different when a team watches you play, when a club watches you play, when they bring you in, right? They bring you in for a certain kind of play that you have been playing in another team, and you have been successful in doing that. It was exciting. That team that Ajax team that went till semi-final, right? That was
Yes.
an exciting team. We like what the guilty pleasure of the fans, neutral fans, was that maybe Ajax would go to final and they would probably win it. That's how good they were. That's how exciting they were, right, at that particular season. And United saw that and they thought, okay, that's what you want. I'm not saying you can get 100% of that,
Hmm.
but at least you need to have the similar kind of identity, which I'm not able to see still And what I'm saying is that you have gotten your players, and you should be implementing as a certain way of playing, at least in that way. If you're not going to do that, why did United even bring you here?
Look,
Do you guys not
at
feel the same?
Ajax, I don't know what were the promises made when we brought Eric Ten Hag. I feel Eric Ten Hag, if he did not have the right structure, or if he was not promised the right structure at United, then he should not have come in the first place.
Okay.
Because there were two legends at the club who were fundamental in the Ajax team success. You know
Mm-hmm.
who those two names are? One is Van der Sar, who is a Man United legend.
Mm-hmm.
Second is Mark Overmars, who is a Arsenal legend.
Okay.
They both were Dutch and worked in tandem
Mm-hmm.
to make that team successful.
Okay.
people you may discount that, अरे इससे थोड़ी होता है भाई, माइकल वेडवर्ड्स का नाम मैं तुरंत तेरे मुंह पे डालूंगा.
No, no,
ठीक है.
I agree.
You
Yeah,
know how
fine.
fundamental is that.
Okay.
Now there were reports that Ten Hag did not want a sporting director, rather he wanted to control majority of the transfer dealings.
Got it.
Now
Mm-hmm.
that is another controversial thing here. Again, it's not official. Again, it's reliable sources info. Now,
Mm-hmm.
coming back to second section, अगर उसको sporting director ही नहीं था, what we as fans are doing here? I mean, we can keep crying for a sporting director if Eric Ten Hag himself, the manager, doesn't want to work with a sporting director, then Eric Ten Hag is having it his way and yet not performing. You could say that to me. But now,
Exactly.
yeah, but now there is a contradicting statement again. That how did he have Van der Sar at Ajax? अगर टेन हाग ही मना कर रहा है कि मेरे को स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर नहीं चाहिए, देन आईएक्स के पास स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर था, वो दोनों अच्छे टर्म्स में थे, देन हाउ डिड ही परफॉर्म एट आईएक्स? नाउ I am just trying to prove to you that theory is invalid, that Ten Hag wants to work on his own. Ten Hag just wants to have a man with a football capability and stature that he can work with. अगर तुम रैंडम किसी को लेके आओगे, जैसे राल्फ राइनिक था, he was signed as a consultant. Okay,
Hmm.
he was signed as a consultant, but he was let go because Ten Hag से पूछा गया कि do you want to work with him? He did not want.
No, I would like to disagree with that, because it seems a lot of reports from Telegraph and Athletic was saying that actually this was the point put forward from it, because Ten Hag felt that he should get his players, and
Hmm.
he was also in a more bargaining power. When he came to Ajax, he was a relatively unknown entity, right? And
Yes.
United were in a tough place, so he had the bargaining power. So he did actually ask for it,
You
right?
could say that
So
और power मिलेगा.
Hmm.
because he was like, okay, Ajax, I was proving my metal to the world. Now I have proved it. Now let me have it my way,
Right.
right?
पैसा भी
Now
ज्यादा
that
है, खेलने
right,
मिलेगा
so
बड़े पैसे के साथ.
खेलने मिलेगा, and he's like जुआ खेल लिया एंटनी
जो-
लेके, but that's something else.
You
But
know, with
now that's I would like to move towards the point. Have you recently checked out what Gary Neville and Carragher had the banter about? Not even, it wasn't
yeah.
banter, it
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
proper heated argument,
Yeah, it
I
was
felt,
good. Yeah. Hmm.
right? So I would actually like to know, Rajesh, your thoughts. Do you agree with what he says?
No,
So I just want
the
to create a context, okay? That Gary Neville, if you guys don't know, is a really big United legend who has who has this.
you don't need to laugh. You cannot
No,
even
no.
count his number of titles.
I know, I know. I'm not going. I can count actually. I can count his number of titles.
Okay.
I don't know how much he's responsible for it, but it's okay. His
What
opinions
do
are
you
still
mean?
shit. See, all
Carragher
I
का
care
क्या
about
contribution था
all
भाई?
all I care about is his opinion currently, and what he thinks, and what he's always been thinking is that everything that happens in United is because of Glazers. Okay, and I don't say that I don't completely agree with his points. It's not like that the structure of a club doesn't matter. It does matter, obviously, but how much can you blame a structure of a club, and at what point, what is the boundary where you start actually questioning the coach and the team for what is happening on the ground?
Okay.
What is the boundary there?
Okay, I will answer that, but you also have to take into account that Gary Neville is a United boy, and
Hmm.
sometimes he also has a little bit of context as to what actually goes in the club. So as
Okay.
per his claim,
Hmm.
the environment inside the club is very toxic. And
Okay.
why it is toxic is because ever since the takeover news has started, employees, general employees, not players and tenor, the general employees, the CEO, the Mato, who is the recruitment, who is tasked with recruitment and is tasked with working with Ten Hag, right? They all fear if we are going to be there tomorrow, if the takeover goes through. There are a lot of news floating around. So the basis of Neville claiming that the environment is toxic is that the takeover news has dragged on, and why it has dragged on is because of Glazers doing. Who is dragging it on? Glazers. Glazers are at the center of everything. So just imagine Newcastle. I just wanted to go back a little bit, touch upon Newcastle a little bit. याद है जब माइक एशली था, वो एक साल सेल नहीं किया था, फैंस इन द स्टेडियम वेर बूइंग हिम, इतना प्रेशर क्रिएट कर दिया। तो ये पता है राफा बेनिटेस को लेके आया था, माइक एशली को लगा भाई बड़ा मैनेजर लेके आए हैं तो कुछ इंप्रेशन बनाऊंगा और शायद रिजल्ट्स अच्छे होंगे एंड आई माइट एज वेल बी एबल टू कीप द क्लब. Such was the pressure created by Newcastle fans that he sold immediately.
Actually, when he fired Benitez, right, that created even more negative press for him.
Again,
That was like a
because
last straw for them.
again, you're proving my point.
But there's a difference.
Exactly, but there's a difference.
There's a huge difference in case of Newcastle. They were not a financial mammoth, a behemoth like United. It wasn't a cash cow per se.
Exactly.
Right? For him, it was a great exit. He was getting great money, and he was like, इससे ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं मिलने वाला मुझे. Right?
That is true. But ठीक है, मतलब देखो, वो कैश का हो कि जो भी हो, यहाँ पे जितना पैसा इन्वेस्टेड है, everything is directly proportional. यहाँ पे उसने इतने पैसे से खरीदा. He also thought Newcastle will become bigger if they stay in the Premier League. Now what happened was that no manager could come in and actually rescue the club. They got relegated. Rafa Benitez was still there in the championship. उनको लेकर आया और फिर relegation fight में चला गया वापस. ठीक है? Newcastle are too big to be fighting relegation. You all agree on that?
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, at least historically, yes.
they're too big to be
not
fighting.
the stadium size and the fan base and all. Yeah,
the fan base and everything. Yeah.
So you agree on that. So forget about United as a behemoth. I'm just trying to compare two scenarios. Ki one set of fans were able to push them out, which is a smaller fan base than United. I don't want to criticize United fan base.
I understand where you're coming from, but there's another thing. Mike Ashley was looking for an exit himself.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
The owner was looking for an exit himself.
Owner was looking for exit, but he wanted whoever to buy. He had a price tag कि मेरे को 450 चाहिए ही.
Bhai, but it is Newcastle United, mere bhai. It is not valued at what United is valued at.
No, if you're not looking for an exit, why would you put your club on sale? Like, if you're not looking for an exit, why would you put your club on sale? Like, Glazers said that we are putting the club on sale.
No, actually,
then why are they not selling?
Are you sure?
Hold on. Let me complete my thought. You're getting all facts wrong. So, Glazers categorically said, we are seeking strategic investments into the club. They did not put the club for sale.
Exactly.
So ये एक बना बनाया हवा है, ठीक है, इंटरनेट का कि हम तो किसी को बेचना है. ये लोग अच्छा खेले हैं मार्केट में, स्ट्रेटेजिक इन्वेस्टमेंट सीख कर रहे हो, मतलब they were always going to play a role inside the club. ठीक है, मेजॉरिटी शेयर्स भले ही चले जाएं, ठीक है. अब देखो जैसिम ज्यादा मतलब पूरा 100% लेना चाहता था, तो वो उनके इनिशियल स्टेटमेंट को डिफाई करता. तो अंदर ही अंदर हम जितना भी खुश हो जाए जैसिम बिकॉज अरबिक न्यूज वहां से बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा था, अरबिक नहीं, फ्रॉम द मिडिल ईस्ट, ठीक है. बट हम सबको पता था कि एंड में एसजेआर ही आएगा. बट मैं अपना पीस बहुत पहले बना रहा था बाय लॉजिकली थिंकिंग कि आई वांट ग्लेजर्स आउट, आई वांट ग्लेजर्स नॉट मेकिंग डिसीजंस, आई वांट एसजेआर वो भले ही मेजॉरिटी में आए, एटलीस्ट वो बोलते हैं ना कुछ तो भला हो, गेट द लीचेस आउट एटलीस्ट. क्योंकि अगर एसजेआर आएगा मेजॉरिटी स्टेक में, एटलीस्ट स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर विल डेफिनेटली कम, ये मैं लिख के दे सकता हूँ. एंड दिस क्लब का solution first and foremost solution to get things back in order is to get a sporting director, because he will control quality of players that come in. मैनेजर के ऊपर से प्रेशर भी थोड़ा ऑफलोड होगा. एंड व्हाई आई ब्रिंग अप न्यूकासल इज, तुम लोग थोड़ा डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल में सोचो. वो 400 मिलियन है, 500 मिलियन में, हम 5 बिलियन में है, दैट्स नॉट द मैटर. फॉरगेट द वैल्यू. अगर वहां पे उनका ओनर 500 मांग रहा है बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट वैल्यूड, सामने वाला इन्वेस्टर आके बोलेगा नो आई डोंट वैल्यू यू फॉर 500, वो बोलेगा मेरे को 300 में चाहिए। इवेंचुअली माइक एक्चुअली गेव अप ऑन हिज आस्किंग प्राइस, वो 300 मिलियन में बेचा भाई सऊदी को।
So
नहीं नहीं पता है
there's a difference, no? In
So
in
there's
United's
one
case,
question I need to
you,
clarify.
in United's case, you were the cash cow. So he's like, हमें घास खिलाने के लिए कोई चाहिए इस काऊ को, तुम घास दो हमें, है ना?
नहीं
तुम घास दो, we will still be in charge for a certain percentage of it. They are not ready to let it go. So, and when it comes to Sheikh Jassim, I think he's a bot. ठीक है, मुझे तो लगता है बॉट है ये भाई आदमी।
No,
But
the Glazers
I think,
hired the Rain Group, like, so that this sale could be done, or
yeah.
were they looking for investment there also?
the
Like,
official thing was still
Why was that?
investment. The
No,
Why
official
was
official
thing
that
was
thing
still
was
investment?
investment.
investment, and Rain
Yeah.
Group would have facilitated the entire process कि भाई
Yeah.
Exactly.
कोई स्ट्रेटेजिक इन्वेस्टर भी आ रहा है तो वो
हम्म
इन्वेस्टर आएगा तो उसको तो शेयर्स देने पड़ेंगे ना, वो
Exactly.
शेयर्स कैसे डिवाइड होंगे क्या होंगे, वो सारी डिफिकल्टीज ये फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस डू टेक केयर ऑफ
So
दैट।
वो Rain
See,
Group करेगा,
one thing
ठीक है।
हाँ
I'm saying that the comparison doesn't make sense also is that मैंने valuation पता है क्यों बोला? Because Newcastle, because is valued at very less, even like it doesn't matter what his actual valuation value is, it is still in a reachable zone for a lot of buyers. Okay, a lot of buyers can buy it. 5 billion club cannot be bought by a lot of people. So you already still have just like one or two buyers for you compared to Newcastle, which would have like 20 buyers for the particular club.
no,
It
there were
makes a
not a
difference.
lot of buyers for
I'm telling
Newcastle.
you that in principle, Newcastle is a cheap club to buy. So you can have in principle more buyers compared to United, where already there's so much high valuation that you will still have one or two buyers. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't
Actually
matter because in the end,
ठीक
Glazers
है,
did not
yeah
want a strategic. They just wanted strategic investment, right?
yeah yeah
And the whole Jason thing was, I don't know how much true it was. What I
No, it
want
was
to
true, man. It was true. AI bot and all is fine because
मैं
see,
मस्ती कर
I
रहा था भाई।
wanted to
You didn't
I
have to take
wanted to
it
come back to
seriously.
this particular thing. I like the ownership aside. Like, do you guys really think that this is such a big impact that you can just let go of what is happening on the ground, on the field?
I'm not letting go of anything, man. I'm just hooked on to one and only fact. You might hear, just like Gary Neville says it multiple times, and now it has become so cliched that Jamie Carragher just cannot resist it. Like you
Yeah,
can't hear, right?
yeah. Even I can't.
Everything, yeah. Even like a
You
scouse
know,
mentality again.
You know
So
why I can't? By the way, sorry to interrupt you, but you know why I can't? Because every year Gary Neville goes like this. Okay, at the start of the season, Gary Neville would go like that. United had a wonderful transfer window, and now like this is his actual words that. With the kind of midfield that we have, Klopp would probably want to swap his midfield to our midfield. That is his words. Okay, that's so confident he is about that particular team. But as soon as you start losing, Neville is like, okay, owner is to blame and everything, so it just doesn't fit, and it has become a comedy because of like that. Because Neville is just not sticking to one thing, and see, every fan is a little bit like that, you're a
yeah,
little bit biased, but Neville has a lot of
like
public eye
I
on him, and
wanted
he
to
has to be a little bit reasonable, is what I'm saying.
no,
But
I wanted to mention two things as well. You only considered one part of his statement. There are actually
mm-hmm,
two parts to it. One, he
mm-hmm,
mentions about the ownership, which he does in
okay,
every United conversations. Agreed.
okay,
The second part was about injuries.
okay,
Injuries do not help the manager. So
I know, yeah,
you can call Erik ten Hag stubborn, right? You can call Erik ten Hag not a good man manager because he's not able to get the commitment out of the players. I talked about commitment, right? Who is responsible for that commitment and attitude?
exactly, yeah,
So he should be responsible. Now
exactly,
you
yeah,
tell me, if you have 10 players out injured, 10 very good proper first team players, right? How will you be able to get the routines that you've been training for since preseason? Now,
okay.
sometimes people
Sorry,
forget
you have 10 players from playing 11 out.
overall 10, overall 10.
Playing
What
11. How many out of playing 11?
entire backline, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Varane,
Okay.
Licha Martinez,
Okay.
Malacia,
Okay.
and
Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw,
Okay.
Casemiro. Okay, how many are there? Six.
Six.
Kobe Menu was, if not start, he would be on the bench. Now
Okay.
bench quality is gone. Mount
Okay.
is recovering from injury. He is making the bench. He is coming off in the sec. So ये मेरे गिनने में ही 8 हो गए और दो भी
Okay.
होंगे.
No,
Anthony,
I have a question that somewhere down the line थोड़ा थोड़ा blame तो मैनेजर पे भी जाएगा कि
मैं
तुम
मना नहीं
थोड़ा
कर रहा हूँ
प्लेयर्स को
भाई, there is criticism of him as well. I'm
कि
coming to that.
प्लेयर्स को
He was
Coming
talking
to that.
about the
प्लेयर्स को
Gary
मैनेज
Neville's
भी
point.
वैसे करो ना यार तुम्हारे पास
Okay,
स्क्वाड
okay.
है
Okay,
Hold on.
let him complete the Gary Neville point. Let's just say.
okay
Yeah.
sorry
Yeah, so I'm coming to that part. I back the manager all you want, but don't all managers have their own faults? And one fault Eric Ten Hag has is his that he's adamant on certain things. He's adamant that if he signed a player, like most managers are, he has to prove that that player is his player and he will try to play him. He
Okay.
just cannot see that there is a player Pelistri who will give you, his running power and more output than Anthony if he
Hmm.
starts. There are
Okay.
certain elements that actually Anthony does well. He actually tracks back and covers spaces very well
Okay.
tactically.
Hmm.
You cut off the passing angles and all that. You have to
Hmm.
realize that Anthony does that well.
Hmm.
But Pelistri may not be as effective going back, but
Okay.
he is more effective than Anthony going forward. You can talk that, you can say that Eric Ten Hag seeks balance and all that, but भाई हम as fans जो देखते हैं हमको clearly दिखता है यार Pelistri deserves a chance. That is one criticism. The second criticism is that, very important criticism is that, जब season start हुआ, जब हमने Anthony को 100 million से sign किया, many people said that अरे भाई, if Ten Hag actually wanted a center back, the money could have actually been spread out.
Hmm.
Could have
Hmm.
signed someone, a center back for 30 million, could have
Hmm.
signed a right winger for 60 million, and 60 million is not less money, it's
Hmm.
actually good money. ठीक है,
Hmm.
you could have spread out the money. Now मेरा question ये, तेरे को जॉन मोटो आके ये बोला नहीं था गांडू कि हमारे पास इतना पैसा है, उसमें से 100 मिलियन तू अगर स्पेंड करेगा तेरे लिए, मैं आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू बाय यू अ सेंटर बैक, ये बोला नहीं
Hmm.
था क्या? ये
Hmm.
क्रिटिसिज्म है. एंड ये
Hmm.
देखो, मैं भाई ऑल ऑनेस्टली बोल रहा हूँ, मैं अंधा सपोर्टर किसी चीज का नहीं हूँ. आई
Hmm.
फॉलो द टीम, आई फॉलो अ सेट ऑफ पीपल.
Hmm.
अगर देखो भाई, इट टुक मी जस्ट अ फ्यू मिनट्स टू लेट गो ऑफ CR7 in from my head. I've been a
Hmm.
big fan. I am not a supporter of CR7 of what he did to the entity, the football club. He should not
Hmm.
have done that. He disrespected the club, so out in
Hmm.
my head. So that's what I'm saying. Eric Ten Hag कोई दूध का धुला नहीं है. उसका भी problems हैं. But the least you expect in a derby game is commitment from the players, no matter the
Yeah.
injuries. And
Exactly.
you can call him a bad man manager for not getting that drilled into players' heads. कि बहनचोद, commitment is non-negotiable. ठीक है? So that's about it, about him.
Yeah.
No,
What do you think, Manish? Do you have something to say on this?
I try to make sense as much as possible, but Manish
I
can
do.
take it.
I mean, as he's already started it. I wanted to understand how much do you guys think injuries are playing part into this, and he's already started that point. So you can cover that if you have want to say
Look,
something on that
क्या
as well.
Manish?
it's really a chaos there. It's a combination of everything. Like it's a combination of the ownership situation, which brings a lot of tension to everybody around the club. There are also injuries, but injuries are part of any team, and you cannot have that an excuse. Okay, but the thing is, like the players' mentality that we talked about previously, that is down to the manager also, like who has to come out in the public and tell that, because you
Mm.
cannot be like fair to one, and you cannot treat everybody in other light. Because you said things about Sancho, you have to now tell about Bruno, you have to tell about Anthony, anyone it may be.
Walk the talk
Mm.
करना पड़ता है.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in that perspective, I am a very big fan of Louis van Gaal, because he would say to anyone in the team, okay, you're not playing, you go home, I'll bring in a player from the youth team. That's how Paddy McNair got a chance. That's how Marcus Rashford got a chance.
भाई,
Marcus Rashford was going to school.
एंजल डी
He
मारिया,
was he was brought in. Yes,
भाई
and
डी मारिया.
anyone. He said, okay, you're not playing, you're not doing the things, you go and sit. I'll play anyone. Rashford was going to school. He bought him from school. Achal bhai khel.
हाँ,
We don't have a
literally,
striker. You play,
literally, he
huh?
is right. He is right.
Against Arsenal, there were like talks of like this is the weakest United team that Arsenal could face in a decade, and
पेल
then
दिया.
this Rashford comes out of nowhere and he scores.
2 goals.
Like that,
एक only 2.
yeah, that's how
उसको स्कूल
Rashford
जाना
made a
था.
debut, and that's how Paddy
School जाना
McNair,
था.
that's how Paddy McNair made his debut and all that. In that
Hmm.
aspect, I would respect that decision. So
Paddy McNair
he,
plays in League 3 now, by the way.
he might play there, but he was a very good player when he was playing. saying. That's
Correct.
what I mean. So that,
Yeah.
now that if any player is not putting out the strength or putting out the commitment, drop him.
Yep.
You did it with Sancho, do
I
it
have
with
to
these guys
agree.
also, and then bring any
Yeah.
kid. Any kid, he'll put his life on the line and he'll play for United. So that's what I would want to see. But okay, I would trust Ten Hag. I'd like if any player can have an off day, managers can also have an off day. Okay, this was a defeat that we would like to forget.
We've
Now I
been
would like to
having
see the
many
next two
off days.
games. Yeah, I'm not worried about the Carabao Cup. जाने दो. But I'm really looking forward to the next Premier League game against Fulham away and the next Champions League game against Copenhagen, because these are important games. I need to see a performance there. I need to see the result. I need to see both result and performance there. If
You
anything is
sound like a
missing,
principal, man.
no. If there is something missing there, let it be result or let it be performance, then there is something wrong. Eric Ten Hag के सर तक पानी आ जाएगा. Now यहाँ तक आ गया पानी, उसके बाद
नहीं,
that is the way.
I think
Because the money has been already spent. You have talked about the
correct.
money, so somebody has to come, and we are blaming that Glazers are not a good owners, and there is no sporting director and all that who is going to ask like, अबे पैसे का क्या किया, इतना पैसा तो ले गया तू सुबह, अभी क्या किया? So there is no one to ask Eric Ten Hag that. It's just that
Accountability.
directly, yeah, there is directly owners there. So now if the fire is too big, then the owners will come out and say, भाई क्या किया? You are in danger. You are not the danger anymore. You are in danger.
I just want to
Correct.
add
So
one
the
point
next two games are very crucial.
I just want to add last point that sometimes when you've spent that amount of money, so you enjoy having it your way, right? Because obviously because of your own decisions. So what happens with all that is he has created a death trap. डेथ ट्रैप होता है मतलब फाइनेंशियल बैकग्राउंड में, यहाँ पे डेथ ट्रैप क्रिएट कर लिया है फॉर द क्लब. खुद के लिए नहीं, वो आराम से मतलब सैक हो जाएगा, वो चला जाएगा. और द वर्ल्ड ऑलरेडी नोस दैट यूनाइटेड के स्ट्रक्चर में प्रॉब्लम है. पेप गार्डियोला तो सीधा ब्लेटेंटली बोल दिया प्री मैच में कि देखो भाई, उसको पूछा गया व्हाट डू यू थिंक कैन मेक यूनाइटेड सक्सेसफुल. Pep Guardiola replied that, look, at City we have very good structure. The CEO helps me. He said it like that in a
I know. I've seen
different
that.
way.
Yeah.
You have seen that. तो वो क्या बोल रहा है ये पता है. So if Pep speaks, the world listens. If they don't already know, they have heard it. तो उससे क्या होता है ना, the world knows that United are a problem. If any manager gets sacked, you know in your heart that who is the problem, not Ten Hag. राइट. सो ये तो पहला सेट हो गया कॉन्टेक्स्ट. सेकंड थिंग इज दैट वी कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू लूज हिम. हमने इतना पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया. वी जस्ट वो होता है ना, तुम अचानक से यू वांट टू करेक्ट ऑल द प्रॉब्लम्स इन द वर्ल्ड इन वन गो विथ वन मैनेजर. तो हमने क्या किया, सबको सैक वैक करके हमने बोला कि ये अपना फुटबॉल स्ट्रक्चर है, हम टेन हैग को जितना पैसा मांगेगा हम देंगे, हम बिकॉज वी बैक द मैनेजर. वो भूल गए कि एक कंट्रोलर भी चाहिए, एक फुटबॉल पर्सन भी चाहिए बीच में मीडिएट करने के लिए. दे फॉरगॉट अबाउट दैट. ही टेन हैग के अंडर आवर रिजर्व टीम इज देयर. टेन हैग के अंडर मुर्टो है, मतलब अंडर नहीं है, दे वर्क टुगेदर. बट स्काउटिंग डिपार्टमेंट ऑल्सो आंसर्स टू मुर्टो एंड टेन हैग. स्काउटिंग डिपार्टमेंट भी. टू मच पावर हैज बीन रेस्टेड विद टेन हैग just to try to correct a lot of mistakes from the past. Now this correction has not been done correctly. समझ रहा है? The correction जो कर रहे हैं वो भी गलत करेक्ट किया है. So
प्रिंसिपल खराब है तुम्हारा, प्रिंसिपल ही गलत है.
प्रिंसिपल ही गलत है. तो ये पता है कोई MBA institution, no one has to go to an MBA institution to know how to do the basics right. Any one of you can go to Man United and literally fix things. Abhay, I'm telling you, that's how bad it is. And that's why
this just brings me back to that meme that goes, ये सब मिलके हमें पागल बना रहे हैं.
Oh my.
Right.
So yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
about it,
Yeah.
man. That's about the rant that we had. Call it a rant or whatever.
No, but I got a lot of knowledge out of it. I'll be very honest. I was like, अच्छा, this is what is actually going on. हम तो सिर्फ ये देख रहे हैं कि यूनाइटेड पिल रही, बड़े मजे आ रहे हैं.
I knew the system वाला चीज, but I did get a lot of context actually behind it. I mean, I do feel
किसी को तो खुश कर पा रहा हूँ मैं.
I do feel though that on field you should be doing better, but you know when behind the scenes so many things happen. it is just unreasonable to think that it's not going to have any kind of impact at all. But my personal thought on that is that it can have some sort of impact, but the kind of power and the kind of unanimous kind of control that Ten Hag has gotten, right? Anything below him should be shielded by him. So the players that are playing under him, at least the players, probably only the players that he's bought. Let's just say there are players that he has not bought. He's not able to motivate them, or whatever. I mean, he should be able to, but let's just say he's not. But the players that he's bought, at least they should be giving their all.
Yeah.
And if they are not going to give their all, then as Manish said, he should either call them out, as Ten Hag has shown that he can do. And if he cannot do that, at least call the performance out, like Pep and Klopp do. They do not call the player out directly. That's not how they work, but they call out the performances. Like when we perform bad, or when City perform bad, they do call it out that okay, this was not a day, or whatever. You can be subtle about it, but you cannot lose to your rival and say, okay, we did everything right. That is not ever going to sit and good with anybody, no matter it's your I mean, it's United fans or anybody, no matter what contest it is. You are able to see the context behind it, obviously. But
Just last line is that managers, any managers earn leverage through their own performances. You know that, right? Agar me as a manager do not have the tactics right, do not play wonderful football, you don't have leverage anymore. Pep has leverage, Klopp has leverage, Arteta has leverage, because they can see that players are enjoying the system, the style. Now, can you tell me Eric Ten Hag has leverage? No. Sadly, no.
but whose fault is that? I mean,
हाँ, मैं
that's
वही
the
बोल रहा
thing.
हूँ ना,
Yeah.
it is the club's doing.
Okay.
It is the club's doing, and it is the injuries, my friend. And you have suffered injuries. How can you not accept the fact that
Okay,
injuries?
I can accept that, sorry, I can accept that. The thing is that I might be wrong, but from the start to this particular point, when you did not even have the injuries, let's just say from the start, I don't think you have injuries from the first game.
From the
And from
start.
the first game,
From
from
the
this
start.
particular, not all of them, no? You still had some people. Like Martinez played some of the games, right?
Martinez played with an injury. He was rushed back in.
Okay,
And
I
then,
mean, if that's the case,
yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Anyways,
Okay, anyway,
yeah.
see,
Okay, I
I
think
think.
Eric Ten Hag is also injured.
No,
Okay, I mean, I say
there are a lot of
the way we
things.
have concluded this particular decision,
Yeah.
I feel like that I was going to ask that what do you guys think that like how do you guys see Ten Hag's tenure going now, considering the games and all? But I think we have concluded it in a way that a lot of it is not still on Ten Hag. So I don't think both of you are still thinking that okay, Ten Hag might have to go or something like that.
My closing statement is that even though there are certain criticisms of Ten Hag, which I believe most managers have, even the likes of people as big as Pep Guardiola, their team also has been getting criticized for a lot of years. Haven't you seen his Champions League selections?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
3, 4, 5 years, they were trophyless in the Champions League, which they were
yeah,
expected to win, by the way.
yeah, yeah,
He also was criticized for the simple overthinking, man.
yeah,
They
So
yeah.
were
Eric
winning the
Ten Hag,
league, bhai.
yeah, they were winning the league, but Eric Ten Hag is sometimes we forget that Eric Ten Hag has just completed one full season, bro. Give him time, and the club will give time. Okay, the club will give time. The tenure is not going to end. He will not be sacked. That's the final
Okay.
thing.
See, I just want to ask one thing just from both of you. Okay, Ten Hag is not going to get sacked. United is not going to be sold also. What are you guys expecting out of this team now?
No,
Top
we
four.
will perform once the players are back. That I am sure of. Once the
Okay.
players are back in rhythm, we will perform for sure.
Okay. So no problem with the play style. Manager knows what he's doing.
Play style will be
And
back. I told
okay.
you I am hinging. I have told my entire conversation that I am going to not blame the manager. I am
Okay.
currently going to immediate future. I am going to blame the injuries. Forget
Got
the
it.
club ownership and all that.
Okay,
There's
fine.
two
Fine. Injuries. Yeah.
injuries. Players will be back. We will have a
Mm-hmm.
certain style. We will play better. That's
Okay. Manish, what do you think?
We'll
What's
have to
yours?
go through this month. November will be a tough month, and
yeah.
that's how the season will go. If we start winning, we have a good form, then it will transpire and it will transform our season. Otherwise, we'll be just looking out in for a top four finish. This is a very key
Okay.
month. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to leave Abhay behind also. So I just want to ask, what do you see from a neutral point of view? That do you think that they are being too positive, or like you think that they are thinking fine?
No,
That's how it should be.
at the start of the season, they seem way too optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Way
Yeah.
too
मैं जा
optimistic.
रहा हूँ भाई.
No, no,
No, but
तू रह नहीं जाएगा तो रुक.
yeah, no,
Title
but
winner.
I think as a neutral fan, right? I think from what I've heard and seen, I think थोड़ा time देख के देखते हैं, because from what I've seen, it's been almost 18 months, and then on the other spectrum, I just see Ange, who's coming to Tottenham, and I'm like, they've got a play style and whatnot. So maybe there are certain things which probably only the United fans know, but as a
Hmm.
spectator, as a neutral, I'm just like, where are these people even going? Like, okay, there's a captain of the ship, which is Ten Hag, but I have my questions with regards to the captain. And generally speaking, with the position they are in right now, right? And I feel the other teams are also going to become better come
Hmm.
January.
Hmm.
Specifically, I would say Chelsea. Chelsea have really
Hmm.
good players. I think top four is going to be a battle. It's going to be a
Yeah.
battle, big battle.
Yeah.
They have far
Yeah.
lesser injuries than us, by the way, and they're
Yeah.
also suffering because this is Pochettino's first season. How is he going to get the rhythm of the players that are coming in from what he actually practiced in preseason? Preseason, they were looking ominous. So, yeah, there is also a factor. Football is simple, I understand, but for managers, it's a very difficult job.
I just want to say this thing. Like, I don't want to put Chelsea into it because
अरे
that's a
पनवेल का
different thing.
ट्रेन पकड़ना है भाई,
Yeah.
चल.
Just all I'll say is that I understand that the problems with injuries and all, but taking last 18 months into account also, and the kind of games that United has lost, which also when they had their team, I still feel like when they come back, Ten Hag, I feel like Rajesh is relatively more positive than I would probably be in currently where they are and the way they are playing. And he has a lot more to figure out than what it seems currently.
Then you
That's
need
what
to
my point is.
introspect a lot, my friend, because I have to show you Liverpool from 2 seasons back when you had
Yeah,
Van Dijk injured.
yeah.
Don't you?
I'm
So
not saying that injury doesn't play the role. I'm saying
Okay,
that
guys, chalo, let's say
you
goodbye.
were absolute
Rajesh, go
utter
and
shit.
sleep.
Okay.